Welcome everyone. This video is going to be a little different from the previous videos. We are going to take a deep dive through the 288 plus videos and posts, some dating back to 2010 through 2018 by Shanann and the background music of her life. Initially, I set out to create a light-hearted video that was case related, but as you will note through the progression of the time, the ominous undertones cannot be ignored. Many times we talk about the soundtrack of our lives. We grow up listening to one genre and, as we mature, our tastes evolve. For some, there are songs attached to this case as well that even in the Peterson case, for example, that when we hear it, it's hard not to come back and think about the case. Depending on how long you've been deep diving into this case or true crime or been invested, it's almost impossible for you not to be impacted in one way or another. And music, as we will read, has a special connection with our lives. I will share some research with you and we will go through this together. I truly set out for this to be a lighthearted video, but I couldn't control the background music. Man, was it mind-blowing when I discovered the very last song where Chris was seen in a video. This video is it's for entertainment purposes, but please be mindful of the impact that music has on many others, and please be kind. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, and if you were to think back to the songs that stand out in your life throughout the different seasons, what would that look like? For example, I have two teenagers now, ages 17 and 14. My youngest one loves some pump-up music before his practice or game. That's what he calls it, pump-up music. And so he'll say, "Hey Mom, can we listen to your gym list?" Because he knows that my gym playlist usually has pump-up music on it for when I'm lifting weights. So usually I'll say, "Sure, it's not a big deal," and he'll pick out a song. And then one day we were driving to one of his games and he chose "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. And y'all, I just couldn't hold back. I mean, who can, right? I went to town rapping and his little eyes got so big. And you have to understand, I have a country accent thicker than Tupelo honey, and I cannot sing to save my life. But I know some Eminem. And I told him, I said, "What, dude, do you think you're the first kid to think that Eminem was cool?" And it's just funny, but I remember being a senior in high school when Eminem's album came out and when 8 Mile was released. Now this year, my oldest son is a senior in high school and we went to see Ed Sheeran in Nashville not long ago, creating those memories, and they are all connected with music. I can think back to an innocent time in my life when I was busting tables at the age of 14 when Creed's "Arms Wide Open" would come on VH1 Countdown every single time I was on shift. And now listening with my children to the music that resonates with them, it's pretty cool that some of my favorites have landed on their playlists too. For example, here in the South, if "Don't Stop Believin'" by Journey comes on, you pretty much know that you just cut loose for the next 5 minutes without a care in the world and you just have a good time. Or when Virginia Tech is getting ready to take the football field and they play "Enter Sandman." Hold on. Let me double check this because my kid will not forgive me if I mess this one up. Hold on. Yes. Okay, Google confirms it is indeed Virginia Tech that plays "Enter Sandman" during the entrance to the football field. It's just a memorable moment on hype videos, and we watch those quite a bit during football season. We don't cheer for VT, sorry. But as you're watching the video, I want you to think about the soundtrack of your own life. How does that speak into you? And how has it evolved? Or has it evolved? Is there a reoccurring theme? What could you learn from this? I don't know what your thoughts are on this concept. I don't even know that I have any well-formed thoughts on it, but it definitely grabbed my attention. Is there a phenomenon of music that we don't fully understand yet that music plays in our existence? Because it's almost like when you watch a movie and there's a soundtrack associated with it. If you had a soundtrack of your life, what would it sound like? And in this video, I'll share with you the statuses and videos that I've gathered over the years and the soundtrack to Shanannwatts. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and don't hesitate to share the link if you'd like. But let's listen.
I believe that things happen for a reason, and I think things come in your life for a reason. I believe people come in your life for a reason. And I've met a lot of people throughout the years that have come in my life that was at the right time, the right moment for everything. And I'm grateful for that, because we've all have our
I think when we were looking at this
situations
earlier time period,
and whatever
see
it may
her
be.
posting quite a bit of Lady Gaga lyrics, and even later I noticed "Love Me Like You Do" playing in the background. We'll come back to that, but we have to keep in mind what was going on both culturally as well as personally for Shanann. She met and married Leonard King really young, according to the Discovery, in 2002 or 2003. So, doing the math, that would put her born in 1984 minus 2002, 2003. That puts her at roughly 18, 19 years old at the time of their marriage. Given she graduated high school at 18, married, and then in 2008 or 2009 suffered a loss in the form of a divorce, and ultimately what sounds like her identity. Which, let's be real, did she even have a chance to develop her own identity before taking on the role as a wife? Shanann was married to Leonard for 5 to 6 years approximately, so for her it wasn't a quick marriage. She had time invested and dreams for that marriage. It didn't work, and there is no need to speculate on the reason why for the purpose of this video. However, it is important to note that usually a season of healing yourself follows, after a divorce. She does mention this in her videos, and unfortunately for the majority of us out here, the only people that truly know who she was during this time of exploration and healing are those that she chose to share it with. Notice I did not say friends, because in this case there are so many groups of friends that clearly know nothing about another side of Shanann. One side will say, oh, she would never do X, Y, and Z, and then another will say, we did that all the time, and then another will contradict that. It's kind of like in your college days when you kiss a girl for the first time and your mother says, oh, she would never do that. Yet those college memories have a different story. If you know, you know, and if you don't, that's okay. You may do things with your ride or die, yet never tell your parents. Frankie even mentioned that she would tell him things and not her parents, or vice versa, because she didn't want to, worry her brother, so she would confide in a friend. So it's important to note, getting back to the music, what we're seeing in these posts is genuinely a young woman who has gone through marriage and divorce at a young age. And I mean, at 18, you don't even know who you are. So you start trying to figure that out. And I believe that's what we see on her social media. If you think back to your post around age 18, 19, you weren't really thinking about oversharing and things like that. Back then, we didn't know about the concerns of social media, as it was entirely new for all of us. And so I do think this is something to consider and think about when we are looking into this case, especially when we look into the music. Music very much is a big part in many people's lives, and it helps heal as well as serves as relatable material to bands or other groups, as well as encourages your individuality. So as we get started, and as you start to see these first couple of slides, please keep that in mind as I'm covering and sharing the lyrics. This is 2008 to 2010, married right out of high school. She was recently divorced, young, barely had any time to figure out who she was before meeting Chris, and then their story started. So you see, we see her evolve from who she was and who she ended up becoming, and who we know her via social media to be. So let's dive into these lyrics and songs. Posts from 2009 were a little bit harder to come by, so I compiled a list of the top pop hits in 2009, and it's quite the list. You have the song Boys Like Girls, you have Black Eyed Peas, you have Britney Spears, you have Flo Rida, you have Pitbull, And this is also where we see Lady Gaga come out with Bad Romance. So, ironically, I mean, sounds like a pretty good year to enjoy some good music and jam out with the windows down and, drive through a little countryside town as you are discovering who you are. Working hard and just trying to figure out the single life. It isn't long before we hit 2010 and we start seeing some posts, and eventually we see the introduction to Chris. One of the first ones we see is from September 18th, 2010. Shanann posts, and I quote, "I can't pay my rent, but I'm effing gorgeous," end quote. Now, originally, I had no idea what this was, who she was quoting, or anything of the sort, but then I was able to find the song Semi-Precious Weapons, and the lyrics say, "I can't pay my rent, but I'm effing gorgeous. I got big lungs that could kill your chorus. If you want to try, you better come inside. I can't pay my rent, but I'm effing gorgeous. Tell me something I don't know. You can't, because you don't. I don't drink booze because my heart's explosive. I gave up food because the crap's expensive. Still is today. I know you want to be me, but baby, it ain't easy. I don't drink booze because my heart's explosive. Tell me something I don't know. You can't, because you don't. I got a diamond in my pocket and a gun in my purse. Bring semi-precious weapons or you might get hurt. Tell me something I don't know. I can't pay my rent, but I'm effing gorgeous." Originally, I was thinking, what in the world? And then I listened to the song and I'm like, okay, it's not near as bad as what I thought it would be, but then the music video was like, wow. So if you have a moment and you want to look it up, definitely go check it out. It'll be something, if you've never heard of them before, then there's a new little nugget of information. The band had a cameo in the video for Lady Gaga's Telephone and served as her opening act on her 2009 to 2011 tour, the Monster Ball Tour. Keeping in mind, Lady Gaga is somebody that Shanann talks about quite frequently, and Lady Gaga's tour was called the Monster Ball. And I know people criticize Shanann for calling Belle and Cece little monsters, but I really believe this is what she's referencing and not like a derogatory term. Semi-Precious Weapons achieved their first #1 on New Zealand's radio station, The Edge. In January 2008, they caused quite a stir in the UK after Kate Moss attended their concert and danced with a 6-foot bisexual singer, Justin Tranter. Now, it's just a little bit of information, hidden facts, that type of thing. I never knew about the band, had never heard of them until I was putting together this video. So, learn something new every day. We see on March 3rd, 2011, Shanann post again about a song from Lady Gaga. And this one she says, "I love this song and it's Born This Way." So I have the lyrics to Born This Way and we'll read through some of them. The first line I'll note is, "My mama told me when I was young, we are all born superstars. She rolled my hair and put my lipstick on in the glass of her boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are," she said, "'cause he made you perfect, babe. So hold your head up, girl, and you'll go far. Listen to me when I say, I'm beautiful in my own way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way." Yes, it's extremely hard to read these lyrics and not start singing the song. I'll do my best. The next one that I'll note is, "Don't hide yourself in regret. Just love yourself and you're set. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way." The last one I'll note on this song is, "Give yourself prudence and love your friends. Subway Kid for Joyce Your Truth. In the religion of the insecure, I must be myself. Respect my youth. A different lover is not a sin. Believe capital HIM. I love my life. I love this record." And insert translation, "I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes." Moving on to March 16th, 2011, Shanann posts, "This is how we do it over at Dirty South, baby. We are in music videos." And then she posts the official music video for Rise, Hell Nah. And while I was going to share a little bit more about this song and this publication, I decided it's probably best just not to even ruffle that feather for the sake of a music video. Next post is April 16th, 2011. She posted another Lady Gaga lyric and post, and this one is for Judas. It says, I'm in love with Judas. When he calls to me, I'm ready. I'll wash his feet with my hair if he needs me. Forgive him when his tongue lies through his brain. Even after 3 times he betrays me. It has some oohs and ahs, and then it says, I'll bring him down, down. A king with no crown, a king with no crown. I'm just a holy fool, oh baby, it's so cruel. But I'm still in love with Judas, baby, I'm just a holy fool. It's so cruel, but I'm still in love with Judas. I couldn't love a man so purely, even prophets forgave his goofy way. I've learned love is like a brick, you can build a house or sink a dead body. I'll bring him down, Of course, this song required me to dig a little deeper, and so I just did a little wiki search, and the song Judas was written about a woman in love with a man who betrayed her. It embodies the incidents that have haunted Gaga in the past, and its core meaning refers to the negative parts of her life that she cannot escape. Gaga has further explained that the song was also about honoring one's inner darkness in order to bring oneself into the light. Wikipedia goes on to explain, or in the words of Lady Gaga, that Judas is actually a metaphor and an analogy about forgiveness and betrayal in the things that haunt you in your life, and how I believe is the darkness in your life that ultimately shines and illuminates the greater light that you have upon you. When I say I, this is Lady Gaga. Someone once said to me, if you have no shadows, then you're not standing in the light. So the song is about washing the feet of both good and evil and understanding and forgiving the demons from your past in order to move into the greatness of your future. I just really like aggressive metaphors. Harder, thicker, darker, and my fans do as well. So it is a very challenging and aggressive metaphor, but it is a metaphor. Again, that's Lady Gaga speaking about the song Judas. The next one posted on March 26, 2011. It's another post for Born This Way. It is the Dark Intensity Revenge remix. However, when I compared the song lyrics, there's not much of a difference. If you notice a change or a shift, just let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts on the remix. But from what I gathered, it's essentially the same song. The beat sounds differently, and I may have missed a lyric change, but I didn't really see one. Moving later into the year, into November 28, 2011, we see another post where Shanann references music, and she says, I love this song, it's Lady Gaga, and it's You and I. By the way, she looks absolutely amazing in this photo. I found an interview done back on MTV with Lady Gaga regarding the song You and I and the music video, because it's pretty far out there. And she went on to explain that sometimes in love you can't make it work. No matter what you do, there's this giant boundary between you and someone else. So that's what it's about, perceiving in your imagination that there's something magical inside of you that you can make it work. And this is off of Complex Network's website, but it was a video done with MTV and Lady Gaga. She goes on to say, for me, it's all about capturing the true spirit of the song, which is when you're in love, you'll be willing to walk and do the craziest and most inconvenient things you can possibly imagine. She added the video is quite complex in such a way that the story is told, and it's meant to be slightly linear and slightly twisted and confusing, which is exactly how love is. As we move into 2012, June 11th, 2012 more specifically, Shanann posted about a concert that she attended with Chris. This included My Darkest Days, Seether, Bush, and Nickelback. She compares this event to the Carolina Rebellion, which is an event that consists of heavy metal and rock bands. It's basically like a festival that eventually was replaced in North Carolina with a different event. And then by October 22nd, 2012, Shanann posted a Lady Gaga quote stating, "Don't you ever let a soul in the world tell you that you can't be exactly who you are." As for 2013, Shanann makes mention of 2 events pertaining to music, the first being the Bruno Mars concert that she attended with Chris, and also an event called Carnival of Madness. Shanann's focus this year appears to be organizing the house and getting settled into their home while anxiously awaiting the arrival of baby Bella. I want to take a moment and pause from the lyrics just to acknowledge the fact that as we've now come up to 2015, where Shanann makes only one reference to Lady Gaga and then not really many other musical posts as far as the year goes, and that's because the majority of her posts are her pregnancy with Cece and making memories with Chris and Bella. So compared to how when she was younger and, you know, essentially broken from that first marriage and divorce and the self-discovery, now she has this whole new identity of Shanann, who is married to Chris Watts, and now they have sold, bought, and moved across country. They have a baby on the way. They've delivered a baby. They've started creating memories as a family, and she's clearly enjoying this part and sharing it with everyone. So we're not seeing the typical music related post that we did from her younger self. So, or even not even younger, but her broken self. So in my opinion, we're seeing a happier Shanann. We're seeing a different presentation. We're starting to see that woman, that businesswoman, that wife, that mother who has turned her focus into her family and how can she nurture her family to the best of her ability. And whether you agree with her parenting methods or not, I think that's kind of a moot point in some aspects, because we can't all go around telling everybody else how to parent and not parent their children. It's okay to disagree with how that happens. I understand the complexities of the case, and I understand the questions that come up from time to time. But for the purpose of this video, let's just take a moment and acknowledge the fact that, you know, the Shanann that we're seeing here in 2015 and in, 2014, 13, it's not the same Shanann that we saw back in 8, 9, 10, even 11. So moving on, we're about to move right on into Sweet Cece as she's growing up, and she is full of energy, and I believe in this first video we're going to see just that. Amusingly, we'll hear Taylor Swift's I Knew You Were Trouble while we see little Miss Cece enjoying herself on this train.
I got free.
Wash your face off.
All hands and feet needed to stay in. No, I think you're open now. Or is this something else? Hi to you too, kid.
Oh, yes, she did.
Yeah.
Oh, she did too again.
No, we didn't go in there yet. Here we go. Takes a long way this time. Motorcycle.
Careful, Cece. No, Cece. No, Cece. Cece, head in.
To spare us Chris singing, I'll go ahead and just approach this next video with he's singing the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse song to Bella. And in my opinion, he notices that Shanann is actually recording him, and you see a look exchange, and then she puts the phone down. Also reflecting back on the previous lyrics and just keeping in mind that while I do not know of a phenomenon that would explain why in the world this entire list of songs would be attached, with any other explanation other than it just happened to be hits that were being played during that year. But then again, later on, we see that she even plays some throwbacks. And just speaking more to those who question or believe in whether it's superstition, fate, premonition, that type of deal, just kind of curious what your thoughts are on that. Again, let's not get too heavy with it too early on. There's plenty more to come. And with that, we're going to give Miss Bella the floor so she can sing You Are My Sunshine.
Yeah.
not really something they were closely interacting with. On April 2nd, 2017, we note that Bon Jovi's It's My Life was being played at the Thrive event in Punta Cana, and some soul cringing rendition of it. And the girls are having a great time. You can tell. It reminds me of being out with my bestie and just having a good time goofing off. And this musician had absolutely no shame and probably sounded much, much better after a couple of cocktails. Then we move on to April 28th, 2017. There's a Dancing Queen Thrive video, and this is kind of like one of those throwback videos because clearly they're not on a 3-week trip. And she's just having a good time with the girls. And moving on to Chris's Metallica surprise that was given to him on May 13th, 2017. He's really excited. He gets a t-shirt and learns that Shanann has purchased him tickets for the Metallica concert that's coming up. And in addition to this Metallica post, there's another Metallica post that's designed or created by Shanann, and it's one of those flipogram videos, and Nothing Else Matters is a song that she chooses for that video, and it's just got some clips or photos of Chris and the kids, and it's more primarily to celebrate Chris's birthday. On July 6, 2017, Shanann posts her videos that she recorded during the concert of Chris jamming out to Metallica, and enjoying himself. They were at the Mile High Stadium concert, and Puppet Master is the song that we see being played within her video. I've made mention of it before, and I'll just reiterate and suggest it again. Unjustified has a really, really good deep dive into the Metallica lyrics and the Watts case. And if you like this video, you will definitely like her video as far as diving into Metallica. As we move into June 18th, 2017, Shanann posted another flipogram. It's just kind of her thing to do, but the song that she chooses is Butterfly Kisses with her dad. This is a very sweet song, and the lyrics, I think they've stuck with most of us throughout time. And so we'll look through these lyrics real quick. And then let Bella move it.
I like to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it.
Backing up a little bit to June 24th, 2017, we see in this Thrive video that Shanann is at another convention, and they're all just kind of hanging out and chilling. The song that they're all gathered around singing together is Lean On Me. And a couple of lines just stood out in that song.
I got a feed eater.
This next clip made me revert back to 2011 for a little bit, because the song in the background that you hear is Ellie Goulding's Love Me Like You Do, which if you kept up with the trilogy, you would understand that the book was released prior to the movies, and the movies were spaced out over time. So looking back to June 20th, 2011, Google even says that since 50 Shades of Grey was published in 2011, it has not only proved to be the fastest selling book in Britain since records began and spawned the most successful 18 rated film ever, but also influenced sales of lingerie and prompted a spike in the purchase of adult toys. Now, why bring this up? Well, because back around the rediscovery phase of Shanann, where she was as a young woman, coming out of that divorce, she and Chris met, she's young, she's having a good time. You've got these really divisive books, if you will, and I pray I don't see it in the comments, but it's usually one of three groups. You've got those who couldn't wait for the next book to drop, and they were just ready to devour it, and of course the movies came, and they were open about it. Or you had those who really enjoyed the book but didn't tell anybody that they were reading it because they didn't want to be shamed or told that they were doing something wrong. And then you had the very religious people who were condemning and saying everybody that ever read those books were going to go to hell, and it, you know, was such a shameful piece of art, if you will. And, you know, to each their own. But I think it is warranted to reflect back on this, because this is the cultural shift that I was talking about. Because back when Shanann began posting on social media, she was coming through a transition into adulthood, and then now she is this married woman with this children, and she's really gonna obviously give everything she can to make this marriage work. And I think we've seen enough in the evidence photos as well to warrant that she, for lack of better terms and just remaining respectful, she wasn't a vanilla person. And so whenever I heard this song playing in the background, it made me think, oh my gosh, wait a minute, you know, this is a taboo subject that we don't really dive into in this case, because no one wants to offend anybody. But part of what I try to do on this channel is make the victims stand out as the humans that they were. And she was a woman. She was, you know, she had feelings, she had desires, she longed for things to work. And so it's not far-fetched to think that a woman in her generation, in our generation, I should say, you know, would have read these books, or she did like to read, or if she had seen the movies, or if they had gone and seen the movies together. Shanann and Chris having a boring life in the bedroom, I don't buy that for a second at all. I think there was I guess the most graceful way to say this is you had a 50 Shades Shanann and you had a 365 Kessinger. Moving on to October 30th, 2017, we see Shanann boiling or steaming eggs, as she likes to do it in her rice cooker. And so a couple of songs came about during this video. I had to edit the video down or else it would have been far too long, but one of the songs is Attention by Charlie Puth. It will surely have you going around today saying, run around, run around, run around, run around. And if you don't have that part down, then that will surely change as well. It is definitely a song that sticks in your head. The next one, ironically, is X's and O's by Ellie King. This one may have a little foreshadowing, but you know, it's still a little early. Next up, we have the Angel Eyes by Jeff Healey that Shanann posts typically around their anniversary time, because from what I've been told, it was their first dance at their wedding. And one of the verses says, don't anyone wake me if it's just a dream, 'cause she's the best thing ever happened to me. All you fellows, you can look all you like, but this girl you see, she's leaving here with me tonight. There's just one more thing that I need to know. If this is love, why does it scare me so? It must be something only you can see, 'cause girl, I feel it when you look at me. So tonight I'll ask the stars above, how did I ever win your love? What did I do? What did I say to turn your angel eyes my way? I don't know, something about that verse really fits them. The next musical experience we have is November 15th, 2017. This will be the Christmas music video where you hear classics like Bing Crosby in the background, and There's No Place Like Home for the Holidays, The 12 Days of Christmas, and other nostalgic classics. We know for a fact that Kessinger began searching for Chris and Shanann between August 2017 and January 2018. Again, D.A. Ruark has come out himself in person in front of video cameras and been recorded stating that, yes, in fact, she did Google Chris and Shanann prior to ever claiming to have known them. It's interesting to note the ominous tones as the holiday season cheer comes to an end and the impending reality of 2018 begins.
And my great grandmother and my dad were huge into Christmas. So Christmas was one of the best holidays of the year.
It's
We
certainly
always,
heartbreaking to know that her family had such a huge excitement around Christmas time, and then she was trying to share that and bring that same tradition with her own family. I do cover that more in another video, but for the purposes of this one, this next clip is where we see the musical undertones take on a more ominous feel or vibe, if you will. I don't really like that word, but we haven't seen her really posting anything, like she's not posted song lyrics or anything like that to her status updates. But what we start to see happen in the later parts of 2017 and on into 18 is she typically is like most American housewives, you know, has music playing in the background while she's cleaning or cooking or, you know, filming. And I couldn't help but notice the songs that were coming through. And so as we move into this later part of the video, I'll be pointing out the songs that I've heard. We'll look at the lyrics a little bit, and then we'll come back together at the end. So in this clip, we have Way Down We Go by Kaleo. I assume that's how we pronounce it. But the lyrics read, "Oh Father, tell me, do we get what we deserve? Whoa, we get what we deserve, and way down we go. Way down we go. Say way down we go. You let your feet run wild. Time has come as we all, oh, go down. Yeah, but for the fall, oh my, do you dare to look at him right in the eyes? 'Cause they will run you down, down till the dark. Yes, and they will run you down, down till you fall. And they will run you down, down till you go. Yes, so you can't crawl no more, and way down we go." That certainly took a musical jump, if you will. In this next clip, we're going to hear Cece and Bella singing along with their father, Chris Watts, to a couple of songs. The video itself is dark and black, but you can hear their little voices singing along.
Sky, twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are. Yay!
What's next?
Holly Jolly.
Holly Jolly! Dolly Dolly, have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. I don't know fairies now. Ow! Ow!
Here.
No. No, I'm a monkey. On
No more monkey
The
jumping
next
on the
clip
bed.
is the one that initially grabbed my attention out of all of her videos. This is the one I mentioned in previous videos that I created, that not only the mean faces seem to catch her off guard, but her entire demeanor shifts. It's visible even without audio. Upon closer viewing of the video, the music starts to come through. I've seen it mentioned briefly before. However, once I started gathering materials for this video and music, it made even more sense to go a little further back to make sure we had a well-rounded collection before I shared my thoughts. So now that we've gone back as far as 2008, 2009, and we've worked our way up to 2017, and keep in mind, this is late 2017. We're at the point in time where behind the scenes, Kessinger has looked both Chris and Shanann up. Allegedly, according to Chris, he claims he had already introduced Shanann to Kessinger at a work event. Again, I don't know how much of that I believe, simply because he lies. However, I don't believe that Kessinger was a stranger to Shanann. I do believe that they have crossed paths at some point. We just are not sure which point that was. I do believe this is further supported by the fact that when you go live on Facebook and someone sends hearts or likes or mean faces, I do know at the conclusion of your live, you can go back and look and you will see who all viewed your live, and you can also see who put the hearts up and things like that. whether or not you can do that while you're going live, I'm not really sure. I haven't done it enough to understand that. So if you know how that works and you can confirm or decline whether or not that actually is something you're capable of doing, please drop it below. However, I do believe that she saw a name that she was familiar with, and that's what threw her off. So again, keeping aligned with if in fact Chris was telling the truth, or if in fact Shanann had intercepted a call or a text like I presume happened, then she would have already been familiar with Kessinger's name. And if that had come across in this Facebook Live, that would make the most sense about her demeanor shifting the way that it did. And again, I've shared my theories on when and how Shanann has crossed paths with Kessinger in earlier videos, and I just feel like it backs it up even further. Keeping that in the back of your head as far as Kessinger looking up Chris and Shanann, the next video post was the Way Down We Go song with the lyrics I just posted previously playing in the background. And now with this Mean Faces video, in this clip I noted 4 songs that played, and they played the entirety. The order of the songs were Sign of the Times by Harry Styles, Bad Blood by Taylor Swift, Good at Goodbye by Sam Smith, and Scar to Your Beautiful by Alessia Cara. We're going to look at each of these songs and its lyrics, and I'll note the verses for each. Scars to Your Beautiful song may not really resonate, or I don't know, maybe it doesn't hit the same as, say, the Harry Styles or Bad Blood did. However, it was very interesting to me because I did a little bit of research as far as what the artist said the song was about. And I found this article on songfacts.com, and Alessia Cara actually gave an interview with Cosmopolitan. And she was discussing and talking about how she dealt with hair loss, and like she genuinely thought she was going to lose all of her hair in high school, and she felt like she had absolutely nothing left. She said she was missing patches of hair that people would point out to her, and it was just very mean in high school. And so she learned to accept that her hair she learned to accept the fact that her hair was falling out. And after this upsetting experience, she wrote the song Scars to Your Beautiful to reach different types of women. And I mention this just simply because something interesting within this case is that many people pointed out in one of Kessinger's interviews with police that she was missing chunks of hair. And the speculation has been, and it's understandable why, is that she was she was the one in the middle of the attack on either Shanann, the kids, or all three of them. And she lost her hair during the struggle. And because there are patches missing, you cannot even argue that. And when you look at every other hairline that Kessinger has, it's evident that something happened, that she really started losing, she lost chunks of hair. And so I felt like it was just really interesting how in this one video you have the sign of the times and all that the lyrics mention. I mean, it's laying it out. It's kind of like setting the stage. And then you've got Bad Blood by Taylor Swift, and it's, clearly someone has crossed another person somewhere along the lines. At least, the song meaning, we know what that's about. Now, and then you get to Good at Goodbye, and then you read the lyrics to that. And it's almost just like all in this one video. And it's in the same video where the mean faces were. Now, again, this video is meant for entertainment purposes. I don't even know personally how I feel about it. But what I do know is that is so many different levels of foreshadowing and foreboding. And it makes you pause, or at least it did me. And again, all four of these songs are compacted down into this one video that Shanann posted. Now, she recorded this. This was Shanann recording it live. And in this Mean Faces video, all four of these songs played to their entirety. And looking up all four of them, and then as you can kind of understand, like, I did these four first, and then I went all the way back to the beginning because I wanted to see how things were lining up. And if this doesn't make the hair on your arm stand up just a little bit, I will tell you that I even took a screenshot of it, but when I downloaded the article to Scars to Your Beautiful and saved it to my computer this morning, it hit 11:11. And again, I'm not a very superstitious person, but whether 11:11 to you is make a wish or 11:11, Google actually states 11:11 can be interpreted as a message from your angels or the universe or whatever higher power you believe in, that you're on the right path. So again, this is not me. That's hello Google and womenshealthmag.com, and it's, even as I'm editing and putting this video together, like, things are happening. And so call me probably one of the biggest skeptics, but this has not bothered me, but it's caught my attention for at least 4 years now. And I finally was like, let me just put this into a video and see what others are thinking about it. Because keep in mind, 11:11, or 111, I should say, when Lacey Peterson, when they did the home evidence video, like when they did the search warrant at the Petersons' house for their case, when they crossed over her stove clock read 111, and then her own family has felt there's a significance to that. So I'm sure everyone has their own personal thoughts about it. I'd love to hear yours, and you can drop it in the comments below. I will ask that you just please be sensitive and be respectful with each other, because you may not believe what someone else does, but you know what, we can still be respectful of everyone's beliefs. So moving on, because there's still more, like as if these 4 songs in this one video, plus the mean faces, plus the meaning behind Scars to Your Beautiful being hair loss, and then we've got hair loss with Kessinger, and then now we've got the 11/11, coming into play today when I'm editing. There's still a few more songs left leading in or into 2018, leading up to the unfortunate date of August 13th. So with that, let's continue. For the next one, I was only going to give a very brief overview, and then of course, as I start reading through the lyrics, this is one of those songs some of us know it. I mean, I'm a huge Swiftie, so I've heard it a billion times, but taking a moment to look into the lyrics, and things just come better into focus for you. For example, the first verse, it talks about, or it describes, having the little baby's hand wrapping around your finger and watching them sleep. And we know that Shanann mentioned several times, like most mothers or most parents, I would even say, when we catch those little glimpses of our newborns or our babies sleeping in their little eyes, you can tell they're dreaming because there's movement. And then it moves on into like being that preteen teenager where your mom's dropping you off at the movies and it's kind of embarrassing, and just makes you think of, the girls unfortunately never got that chance to do those things. But it talks about, getting older, and then as you age, just remembering to dance, and, even around in your PJs, while you're getting ready for school. So just really taking in the morning, enjoying life, and just living it moment by moment. The verse that stood out the most to me was the one that says, take pictures in your mind of your childhood room. Memorize what it sounded like when your dad gets home. Remember the footsteps, remember the words said, and all of your little, we're going to insert sister's favorite songs. I just realized everything I have is someday gonna be gone. So here I am in my new apartment in a big city. They just dropped me off. It's so much colder than I thought it would be. So I tuck myself in and turn my nightlight on. This is a very sweet song, and it's just, I think it speaks for itself. So up next, again, I removed the audio from these videos just to avoid the copyright issue, but in this next little clip we see the 2 girls dancing around the living room with one of their friends, because honestly guys, this is how these children should have been able to live out their lives, and I think we all know that, we all agree to that, no matter what side you stand on, what your theories are, how you feel about the case, or even YouTube or anything of that. Like, the point is, they were innocent children, and they very much deserve to be able to just enjoy life. And they, in fact, were doing so in this sweet little video.
Happy birthday
To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you.
Did you blow my candles out?
All right.
The next video we see is the Footloose video, and this comes about, this one was included on the Netflix documentary. It was on Shanann's Facebook public long before Netflix ever came about, and it's got Shanann dancing around in the kitchen with Chris, and he does a little passive, like, yay, here's my patch, and then you just, I don't know, you can tell in his face, at least in my opinion, he looks like he's trying to be a team player with it, but then at the same time, he really just doesn't want to be in the video. And again, does that say anything ill of him? No, it really doesn't, because not everybody wants to be on video. Not everyone wants to be recorded all of the time. And so again, you go from the girls dancing around, having a good time. Shanann is dancing around, in her kitchen. She's cooking. She's really just in her element. And I feel like she gets a lot of flack for just being in her zone and in her mood. Like, Does she need to think about her husband at times? Yeah, but you also can't crucify a woman because she's just enjoying the life that she has. So I'm going to leave that there. It is just a short little video clip. And this next one is the one where things kind of switch back into that ominous tone again. So it was almost like we come through the years watching Shanann grow up, mature, see her recover from heartbreak and, re-identifying who she is as a woman, and then becoming a wife and a mother. And then we see the ominous undertones of the cooking video, and then trying to, I don't know, I guess the last one of her dancing in the kitchen to me is just, what everybody else would do. You're trying to make the best of a situation and choosing, she believed very heavily in manifesting. And if you're not someone who believes in that or really dives into that, I do know it's very heavy with MLMs. I can't say I disagree with it, but it's not something that, I don't know, I'm not familiar enough with it to really give an opinion on it. So, but I feel like that's what she's doing in that video, is she's manifesting in her mind that, hey, I've got my patch, I've got my husband, I got my kids, we're dancing it out in the kitchen. Like, in that moment, life is good. And even on the trip that we're about to review over the next couple of videos, life seems to be good for them. But then let's listen to the music. Now, before we go into this next video, I want to mention a couple of things. So, first, I'm going to play the video in its entirety. And I will say that for copyright purposes, I had to lower the volume on the music once I play the first few chords so that you can hear the song that's actually played. That way you get the whole purpose of me sharing this with you. So in this video, what we will see is Chris begins to drive the Tesla. He's test driving it while they're in Vegas, and I've shared with you the video of Shanann quite a few times, and I've always felt like there was a flirtatious nature back and forth. I know I had a commenter one time mention that she felt like Shanann was just joking with the dealer, but I think it's even more clear now in this video of Chris driving that you hear the banter between the two of them. And at one point he even turns and says, or he says to Shanann, he says, "You want one, babe?" He's like, "Let's go down to Denver and get you one." Now, as far as the songs and the music, something I found very interesting was when the dealer first asked Chris, do you have a preference? And he's like, Chris says, "Oh, well, let's, Metallica." And then you can see the guy searching for the song, and he asks if there's anything in particular, and Chris replies, "And Justice for All." Now, "And Justice for All" is a song as well as the album title for Metallica. And after the video plays, I'll show you a side-by-side lyric comparison of "And Justice for All" and "The Unforgiven," which is the actual song that ends up being played towards the end of Chris's test drive video. So again, this was just one of those things where this is the last video that I have personally found of Chris on Shanann's Facebook with any type of music in the background. If you happen to find something that is out there that maybe I missed, feel free to drop it in the comment section, link it. That would be wonderful. And so yeah, let's take a look and let me know what you think in the comments.
Here and then turn right at the light.
Michael, they want to see the autopilot.
Nope. Sorry. This guy's the pilot
Come on,
today.
can we throw it in turbo?
So that's with the P90 and the P100. That stands for performance. Right now we're just driving the 90 Model S, which is chill and standard. It's still 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. So if you're really looking for more, then yeah, I don't know, go upgrade. But right now it's a fantastic drive.
We're always looking for more.
Yeah, right.
Are you kidding me?
Never satisfied. You will get the check out the Roadster. It's 0 to 60 1.9 seconds. This right now has it's between 315 and 691 horsepower.
That's nice.
Yeah. So the performance comes with two motors on the back and one motor in the front. This just has one motor in the front and one motor in the back. It's all-wheel drive. In the performance, the P100 has about 215 horsepower from the front and about 500 from the back. Really takes off.
That's amazing. How much is maintenance on these things?
I'm not sure.
I don't know how often you have
It's
to
kind of a
do
good answer, though. I'm not sure. 'Cause that means it doesn't happen often.
it. Yeah.
No, I was like, someone was asking for the lifespan. I was like, I was trying to think of hearing anything. I wouldn't know specifically, but I think these cars hold their value, especially after driving them for a bit.
Yeah.
I doubt there's much to maintain. It's all electrical.
Yeah. Just have-
Where you have everything
Have to
where
look
it's
it up.
hardware,
yeah.
one piece breaks, the whole thing's out.
So what are the controls that you have on that screen?
So these are just like your performance for driving, your trips displays, your driving. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory when you get into it.
Yeah.
And then when you come into here, that's when you can mess with the main dashboard and your, dominant settings you'll be using.
And they're telling you to honk. Hashem said honk and get them out of your way.
So you can't turn right on red. And then there's one light that you can't, and I'll let you know when we get there.
They said punch it.
So if you're turning right at this light,
That felt pretty good. I felt really smooth.
I wish I could always drive like that. It's fun. There's one part that's fun being a passenger.
And I was like, it'll sneak up on you.
It's such a quiet
Yeah.
pickup. Like you don't hear any part of that.
No.
It's so smooth that you can't even feel how fast you're going either. Until you check the speedometer and you're like,
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm going
already at
60.
100, yeah.
Nice.
That was fast. Oh,
Yeah.
that's why I got this car.
It's not like a car you're gonna hear like roaring down the strip. You can just look over and see it. Mm-hmm.
Your battery life, or your power for that day, depends on how fast you're driving around and how much power you're using. So slow drives, local drives don't really take much power at all. But going fast, up 60 past, you're going to be running the battery a little faster than normal.
Don't take it across country.
I think you can. It just depends on the time you have and your route you take.
Gotcha.
Tesla's trying to get a lot more charging stations out and more accessible,
Okay.
and also finding other ways to charge your car faster than being so reliant on the charging stations. But it's kind of getting the supply and demand, people out there getting them. But I was telling someone, if you wanted to plan a trip, you just plan where you can stop for a couple hours or something, check out the place you're driving through while your car charges, and then you hop in and go to the next place, so you can kind of
Nice.
be checking other places out. But it comes with a traveling cord if you need it. And most hotels, even some gas stations, are starting to get some stations up. And the Tesla supercharger station that I went to today was just like some random parking garage that you can pull up, and it had like a line of them. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
And you just plugged in and took off. I didn't have to pay anything.
Wow. So that supercharging station, how long does it take to charge?
Are you serious?
20 to 30 minutes to get 80%.
Yeah.
And so about just over 40 minutes you can get a full
Like is
charge.
a red light?
I don't know where they think we're going. I mean, I guess we could probably hop the curb, maybe. But that's at Chris's discretion right now.
Yeah. like how the cars appear on the screen as you get closer to them. It's pretty cool.
Oh, so it actually senses the car in front of you?
Yep, it can even get the car in front of that car sometimes.
Yeah, I picked up the two of them when I came up.
The Model X will tell you cars all around you. That one's really decked out.
That's pretty cool.
So you'll see the shadows going behind you and coming from on the sides, from behind and front. This also, like if you're close to, as we get close to things on the sides, it'll let you know the distance. This light, you can't turn on red, so if it's green, you're good to go. Stay in the right lanes. A lot of people move, so you can actually take off down. It is 45, but you.
That's really awesome.
Both Shanann and Chris are clearly impressed by the sound system in the vehicle, and in this video, he continues on throughout the test drive, drives it back to the hub where they get out, and then of course the video ends. But I wanted to share it because I haven't seen a lot of people really posting the test drive with Chris, and I found it very interesting that the song he requested was not the one that ended up playing. And then ironically, like I said, as of February 10th, 2018, this is the last known video of Chris Watts with music in the background that was posted by Shanann. Again, if you have something different, if you have a later post or something of that sort, then feel free to drop the link in the comments below. I'm wide open to it. But as far as what I was able to find, this just really caught my attention because it's pretty interesting. And there's still more. The next song that comes about within the background of the videos, I didn't go through or include every single one of the ones in the far background of the Thrive videos, but one that Shanann did post and it was clear was the Lenny Kravitz American Woman song. And I post the lyrics here for you in the video, so you can just kind of scroll through these and see them. I kind of picked out a couple of verses and left them up there, and because this next video is the one I wanted to get to. This next video completely caught me by surprise. I had already kind of known about the one with the mean faces. I had heard those songs pointed out before, and then I came across the one of Nicole Atkinson driving the Tesla as well. Now, she test drove this Tesla when I believe they were in San Diego, was when she qualified for it. So I could be wrong. She may have test drove it at the same time that Chris and Shanann did, and then she just didn't post it until a little bit later. However, this video comes on. We see Atkinson driving the Tesla just like we have Shanann and Chris. Again, no big deal. And then all of a sudden, here comes this song. And guys, the song that is playing when Nicole Atkinson is driving is Call Out My Name by The Weeknd. And so I'm going to let the video play through a little bit and leave some of the lyrics up on the screen for you. But what are your thoughts on this? I mean, how ironic, and it's just almost unbelievable that these are the songs that are in the background of these day-to-day live streams, videos, obviously completely unbeknownst to what was coming, like not having a clue what was around the corner. But these are the songs playing in their day-to-day lives, and then now when we look back on the videos, this is what we're seeing. This then brings us to the next video, which is Dieter's last birthday with his little family. We see the girls singing happy birthday, and especially Bella, and giving Dieter loves, and it just melts my heart. But we know at least my pup kid is just like my own kid. He's spoiled rotten. But that was just such a sweet video. And then moving on a little bit further into it, we see a video that Shanann posts with the girls, and it's the girls dancing in their car seats, and they're singing to Carrie Underwood's Champion. And I picked out a couple verses again to put up there and it's very easy to Google the full lyrics to each song, which I highly suggest doing. It's just interesting when you take the music away from it and read the lyrics. And then the next clip, we see the girls dancing around to Space Jam and just really having a good time. This also just brings it back around full circle to me that these girls should have been able to just play and enjoy life, and you know, where they would be today, what they would look like, and their little personalities. It's just, it's so sad. In the remaining 2 videos, we will see Bella sing My Daddy is the Hero, and this was something that she learned, I believe, for Father's Day, and Shania posted it to her Facebook. It's the sweetest little song. And it's unfathomable to think that her daddy was it, you know, he was everything for her. And then you move on to Sweet Cece, who is celebrating her 3rd birthday with the little cupcake and hearing happy birthday being sang to her. I think it's a high note to leave this video on, hearing Sweet Bella singing and then the celebration of life for Cece for 1 more year. Thank you guys so much for being here and for being patient. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not, and drop some comments below. It's okay to comment along with the video. I like that. I enjoy it. And I do my best to go back in from time to time and answer those that I've even replied to, like if we're having a conversation. So just note that if you commented on an older video, I will be going back through there and answering and replying. So be on the lookout for those, you know, those alerts and notifications, because I will definitely be getting back to you and responding as much as possible. Thank you again. Have a great day, guys. If you're still with me, then you will find that there is a What's in the Background playlist on Spotify. It's free. It's just a simple, you can search for it. And basically what I did is, because everyone learns, listens, enjoys YouTube content differently. And given that this one was music related, and I give you the titles and some of the lyrics, I didn't go, you know, obviously I wasn't playing you the songs in their entirety, but I thought it may be something that may be of interest, maybe not. But what I did is I put in chronological order all the way back from 2008, 2009. So basically all of the music that was included in this video, I put it into a Watts playlist, like a Watts in the background to go along with this video. And if you want it, it is open to the public on Spotify. I do not get paid for it. It is not a sponsorship. It isn't anything like that. I just put a lot of time into this video, and I thought it would just be a little something extra that you may enjoy at the same time. So just know that it's called What's in the Background is the name of the playlist, and you can find that over on Spotify.